Yo, how's it going everybody? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day as well. Today we have a lighting tutorial for you guys for Blender. So there's not going to be any Photoshop involved for today. We're going to be going over basic lighting. So of course for whatever you have imported into Blender, we're going to say how you can actually light that to the best you possibly can and whatever you can do with it. Because I know a lot of people, they just add a few lights and as well maybe it's a bit too bright. It doesn't match the background that they have and stuff like that. So we're going to be going over that into today's tutorial as well. Yet again, there are going to be some links down below as well to the new John Wick skin and of course the weapons that have come out. So it's going to be ready for you guys to import into Blender, and as well, if you like, we're going to go over a little bit of posing but not too much in today, and basically about the rendering and of course the lighting in today's videos. Remember guys, please drop a like down below and of course subscribe to the channel if you guys are brand new, and if you can, follow me on Twitter at hdxhexa as well. There's going to be a link down below to that. Also, I'd really appreciate that. I post all of my art and as well thumbnails that I do for clients and everything like that to do with Obey. So hope you guys do enjoy this video and let's get started. Now, as soon as you go into Blender, you should have something on the screen like this for you guys. Well, the two variants of John Wick as well, the damaged one and of course the plain one that you get. The two new weapons that have been added into Fortnite recently, that's the shotgun and of course the assault rifle. So as well, if the textures haven't loaded in for you, but I'm guessing they would have because I already saved it where it should be. But as well, that means that it's pink and obviously there's going to be no textures there. So you want to try and sort that out. So I'm going to have them future tutorials on how to do textures, importing skins and stuff like that. So of course, what we're going to start off with as well, every time I get into Blender, I start off with the settings as well. This is important because of course you want to be looking at the lighting with the best settings already that you've got prepared and stuff like that. That's what I usually do anyway. You have your different ways of working. So for myself, the render engine, I don't have it on Eevee as well. Eevee has its own advantages and stuff like that, but for myself, I don't really find it as well the best for me. So what I do, go to render engine and as well I change that to cycles. Now it hasn't done a lot here, but if we go over to the slab thing, whatever you call it, the render engine, we go over to that, we actually see there's a little bit of a difference here. So if I just zoom in for you, you probably already know the difference. So you can't say it's bad quality, but as well it's just got its own sort of features to it. So I'm going to go with cycles. Is a lot better for me and making thumbnails. So now the next thing that I usually do is go to samples as well. Here I usually average it around at least 200 every time I actually sort of render something. If I'm doing practice renders at below like 100 and stuff like that, just to see what it's going to look like and stuff before I get into the final product. But usually I go around 200 and above. Say if I have a background in between or anything like that, and that's why I usually up it from 200 to maybe even 800, 1000. It depends what it is. So for you guys, if you're going to have just the model, I'd say just go above 200 as well. You're going to be probably waiting around maybe 20 to 30 minutes. It depends on your computer and stuff like that. So as well, the transparency, you want to check that as well before I do that as well. All you got to do is just scroll down to the bottom where it says film and then as well transparency. So what I'm going to do here is go to object and then world. Now what I'm going to add is a environmental texture. So if I go to add, right, and then we go to texture, environmental texture as well. Yet again, there's links down below for you guys that I forgot to say about this. So there's pink here, that there's nothing connected. So what I'm going to do is open, then as well should be a HDR1. I'm going to leave these down below for you guys. So the sunset 2K is my favorite, and here we go. So of course we got this, but we don't want the background here as well. No John Wicks want to be seeing no sunset today. So what we want to do is add the transparency, and there we go. We have the lighting on the weapons and of course the skins. Very basic for you guys. So of course, hopefully that has helped you. Now we're going to be going into some more important things that you probably need to know before we start doing the basic lighting. Go over some common things that I see a lot of people doing as well. Maybe your model is too big, and as well when you go to add a light, so if you go down to add, then light, and then area light, you're going to say where is it, I cannot see it, there's no lighting or anything like that. That means that your model or whatever you have is way too big as well. You don't want to be upping as well your light down here because it just isn't going to be right. It's just so much easier if you go to as well move your models down to that size. So the better way that I find is when I have the select tool or the select box tool, then what I do is I select as well whatever I have, make sure as well this here is on global and other things like that. So of course I press S So then it comes out of these, it goes to yellow to white and whatever. Now I type in 0.011. So that, as you can see there, it's going to be very small. Now if I press enter, then as well on the numpad there should be a full stop on your keyboard. Hopefully there is. If you haven't, then as well I think it's just got to be your keyboard. It's not really the full stop, but it's kind of like the numpad full stop. It's really weird. Next to the enter button, then that just takes you in to whatever model you have. So now what I'm going to do is actually take this down to the bottom of where I have the light here. So we're going to try and take that down here, and as well yet again pressing the button to see where I have it. That's a bit too far, but that's not too bad. As well, we're nearly there. So now we've got it into place. I think that's right, pretty much. Now what I'm going to do is add the light. So if I go here to, actually I'm going to hide these by pressing the eyes, so that one and that one. Now what I'm going to do is actually add a light just to show you guys, so now we can actually see a big difference. So an area light down here, and there we go. Now what I see, now we've got the light, I see some people, they do a little bit of basic lighting as well. Maybe they add a light all the way over here, and that's it. That's pretty much all they do here. So you don't want to be doing that. You don't want to add one light. You want to do some many other things than just that. You want to add some lights from behind, maybe the side, see where your screenshot is and where the light is actually coming from. Make sure the background shadows are matching your like model shadows and stuff like that. That's what I'm going to be going over. So of course, first of all, what I'm going to do is actually add a camera. So if we go to add and then camera, then as well this here should be in the right position. So what I'm going to do is, so it just makes it a lot easier for myself. I'm actually just going to line this up for now as well, what I can actually see. I'm not sure what the final view is actually going to be, but what I can kind of tell the lighting is. So what I'm going to do quickly, so if you want to check out how to do the posing as well, check out my last video on how to do that. I'm just going to do a bit of a speed run right now for how I can do the posing, what we can actually work with. Finished with the quick pose as well. This is just something very basic as well, him holding the weapon, a very basic facial expression there also, and of course I didn't even finish the hand properly. So it's just something where we can kind of get a adjust of where our lighting is going to be coming from as well. We're going to be having the lighting coming from the back here as well. I prefer putting the camera in as well first before the lighting, because then I know where we're going to be having like the light come from and stuff like that. I just find that a lot better. Even if I need to maneuver all the stuff around again, I sometimes have to do that. It just comes down to you guys. So what I'm going to go over now is actually the lighting for you guys. So if we go into the render view here, now what we're going to do is, well, we add the HDR in some basic lighting. Now if we go to add light, and of course if we go to sunlight, I'm going to start off with the rim light. So that's the light that comes from the outside and stuff like that. It goes into the middle, you could say, but it's not going to be as bright as you think. So if we just maneuver this into the right area, now what I'm going to do here is go back into the camera view, and now what I'm going to do here is actually add a lot more brightness. Now it doesn't look that good here, but what I need to do is actually maneuver this into position so it's coming from the back of as well John Wick. So I need it probably more this side. I prefer light coming from that side as well. That's where I get most of my screenshots. So I'm going to have most of it coming from here, and you can start to see it as well. We can see it from this view here. Now we can see it on the side there. I'm going to drag that down actually. So we're starting to get that view of the light coming over the gun and as well John Wick's head. So what I'm going to do is add this a bit more that way. This is kind of quite a tricky angle, so comes down with just what you think as well. We can actually see a bit of light there, so I think that looks pretty good. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is actually copy that by pressing Ctrl C and then pressing Ctrl V by clicking away from it. Now we're actually going to go to the move tool, move it away because it's just so much easier to actually see. Now I'm going to have the light coming from as well this angle, so not too much really. That's way too much so far. Now we've got a little bit there as well. It's not too bad really as well. I think the pose, what I've done with it is kind of difficult to add the lighting. So if you've got lighting just coming straight on, then it's just so much easier. So that's what I recommend us starting off with. Now I'm going to copy it again, like I said, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. I'm going to have a bit of light coming from the top, so I can actually just get the top bit really of John Wick's head as well, lighting, and as well maybe a little bit of the weapon and stuff like that. I like that, so it's not too bad, just little minor details like that. And this one maybe I might not actually have that light because it's coming down, I think, a bit too much on the weapon there, so that's not too bad there as well. We've got a little bit of the rim lighting as well, not that bad, so it just comes down to what you think. But as well, just for you guys, hopefully you understand of how the light works as well. Wherever I maneuver this as well, that's where the lighting is going to be coming from. So the next part that I'm going to go over as well, I'm going to have my lighting from the as well from the right hand side. So if we go to light and then as well area light, let's drag this into place real quick and let's start putting as well the correct lighting into it. So I think that's not too bad as well. What I'm probably going to do is actually move this back so it looks alright. I'm going to have a bit of his face in it. So there we go. Now if we go back to the camera view, we can actually see a lot more light on the face and of course a bit of the gun there. So what I'm actually going to do is make it probably a bit higher. So I'm actually going to do this, bring it more to the front and face it towards John, oh god, a bit more towards John Wick, a bit more. There we go. I think that looks alright so far. Now it's a bit too bright, so what I'm going to do is go to the strength of down here and just bring that down from 100,000 until it looks quite right. So yeah, that's not too bad really. I do like that. Now what I'm going to do is actually copy this one, and now we're going to add that to as well the other side. So I've just rotated it. Now I'm going to bring that all the way to this side here. But way too light, so I'm going to move that back. I'm actually going to decrease the size a little bit. So right now it's quite big of a square. So if we bring this in, so this is going to kind of make the lighting just come into that one area where it's like coming to. So this is very useful. Now we're actually going to decrease the strength once again as well. We still want shadows. Shadows are very important. We just want a bit of lighting on this side anyway. So now if we go to hide it, well, there's not so much lighting, and as well if we bring it back, there's a little bit of lighting there. So that's some basic as well lighting for you guys. So hopefully this has helped you. So what we're going to have to do if we want to go to render this out, just go to render and then a render image. So hopefully this has helped you guys. If it has as well, please drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel if you guys are brand new, and I'll see you in the next video.